Hey boys, I'm back. I'm ready to stream. I was off for a bit there because I had a lot of work to do leading up to vacation, then vacation. Went to Vegas, that was a lot of fun. Cody Cat was there, so was Reka, and a lot of other people. And now I'm back home. I was going to stream last night, but I had a cult meeting, so I had to go take care of that. You know, family business. Cult meeting, that's right. Oh, and as you can see, I did vote today. We got patriotic lights on back there. California was for the recall vote going on. If anyone's interested, I might actually be pulling up some results for that. The polls closed. They just closed at 8 o'clock, so I don't know if we're going to be getting any info in on that soon. But now that the polls are closed officially, there should be some news coming in, just in case anybody fucking cares about the governor of California. Anyway, yeah, let's get some fucking games going here. Vacation was great, by the way. Did a lot of drinking. Not as much as Sinual. And over to the game. Here we go. It was very nice. Leviathan watched my house for me while we were gone. Watched the house and the dogs and the cats. Oh, speaking of cats, real quick, back to full webcam here. Kyra is in the background of this stream. It's a special Kyra stream. You can get her to look. Kyra. Kyra. Oh, there she goes. Yeah, she gave us a glance. Okay. Back to the game. My voice is a little messed up, so voices are probably going to be much worse than normal, which I just went through and quickly listened to the voices I was using so I could try to emulate them again. And I tell you what, you guys are putting up with a lot watching this stuff. Oh, and Seth was hanging out with Reka over there. Reka, by the way, is here on stream as well because she's going to be part of this. Right? Reka? There we go. That's Seth Rush is going to be voice acting with us. Anyway, part of what I got... Oh, it's too bright. Hold on, let me shade it here. I got this from Leviathan. This his friend 3D printed it for him, and he gave it to me. It's a Bob-omb can holder. You could have made it look
bigger than that tiny little screen, you know?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, we gotta cover it up from the lights so you can see the detail, but yeah, it's got a Bob-omb. It's got the eyes and stuff.
Are you gonna paint it?
I might. Yeah, here we go. I'm drinking a Bob-omb Coke Zero today, courtesy of Leviathan. Alright, now back into the game. Okay, so the last thing that happened was these two were called up, and these are supposed to be the witnesses for the stabbing. Real quick recap, we have Natsume, or not Sekiro. I keep wanting to call him Sekiro. His name is okay, I'm gonna call him Sekiro. Alright, so it's
Natsume.
Sekiro Natsume. Is the Japanese student who's here. He looks like Edgar Allan Poe. He does... Oh, Miko, do you want to say that again for the folks at home? What are you saying? Good. She's not happy about something. Anyway, he's supposedly being framed for a stabbing. The person who got stabbed was a lady in a green coat. She's not dead yet, but she hasn't woken up. No, Ryunosuke is my character. That's not Natsume Kai. So this is supposedly the Bobby and the other person, the two of which are the witnesses for the stabbing, and they say they saw my client do the stabbing. And again, I'm sorry, my voice has been a little off lately, a little husky.
Husky.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So now we need some new fucking voices.
Constable Rolly beat. Sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you guys are in for today. It's what you have signed up for. Oh, great. He's narcoleptic. All right, you're up.
And I'm Miss. I don't know, Patricia. Okay. And I'm Mrs. Pete. Is that Beat?
I don't know.
I'm Mrs. Betty. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm the young town hero's wife. You're the wife of someone who's falling asleep right now. All right.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how we call him this. Beat, Betty.
Beat, Betty? I think it's Beat.
I think it's Beat. I think it's Beat. I think it's Beat because he's a cop, so he's on the beat, you know. Okay. Anyway. Well, what's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day.
Oh. Congratulations. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired.
Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world.
Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually.
Indeed. Apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true, and they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our streetlights.
They should probably, like, hire more staff instead of having their police do everything.
There are a number of items on the list that don't sound much like policing duties at all.
I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago.
But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor.
And a man of slumber. Buddy Cat, you say that Massachusetts just called in an emergency and are teaching state troopers to drive school buses because they don't have any otherwise. It could be a copy note stuff. I guess, okay, there you go. You know what? They didn't say this guy was running a school coach, so.
On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat?
That's right, sir. Isn't it Rolly?
Get a load of these two back here. Hi, Miko. Miko.
You're up.
He's probably going to be barking at us and Kyra. He's bored right now, wants to play.
And I have a little Sethra.
Constable Rolly Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
What a great witness he's going to be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir.
I have Sethra suckling on my arm. Doctor,
What the witnesses saw.
It was our wedding day anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police spot. So they didn't actually see anybody in the shadows.
Yep, that's what we were talking. That's what I was thinking.
It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Well, this is an extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh dear. Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene.
See, it doesn't matter to me. We already know our man was at the scene. That's not a problem.
If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the Summation Examination will be quashed.
It's death now, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place. What an unfortunate bechancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too.
Oh, I know, but still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that. Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed, however. This cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have the time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. That's right, Soseki, not...
No, but they said they saw a silhouette, not the face.
No, I think they saw the silhouettes and then they saw his face running out of the fog when he ran by them.
I don't remember
Which
seeing
is
that.
still, which is still fine. That's fine. They can identify him. They still didn't see him do the stabbing. We know he was there. Our own guy says he was there.
Yeah.
He just claims he's not the one who stabbed. And there you go. It's Soseki, not Sekiro.
You were close.
It was.
And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
Except that the man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. What the witnesses saw. Okay, we don't need to... Actually, you know what? Yeah, go ahead. Let's give him another read here.
It was our wedding day. It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work.
Hold it!
No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. Beat?
Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Rolly looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down to the ground, doesn't it, darling?
I think Rolly looks more like a child than a strapping young man.
She looks like a child and a young lady.
What? I just finished my beat.
Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep? Oh, this is creepy.
Oh no, really? I much prefer you in your uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. What? Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. No, it doesn't seem healthy at all.
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct?
Yeah, she likes a man in uniform, all right, Cody Cat.
That's right, sir. Yes, although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and the Queen to the end.
What's that now?
My warrant card, sir, proof that I'm a London corporate. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and to uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure.
I think you should have your necklace in your mouth as you talk. Because he has something in his mouth.
Oh, I could put something in my mouth. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it, then.
But, sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beak puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me.
Oh my. I must say, he looks much more handsome from the side. Doesn't he? Now he suddenly went from being the boy in a costume to a man in uniform.
Look at her eyes. They're like
Look at his eyes
listening.
I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold.
too. If a little over the top, perhaps.
And then, kindly describe what happened next.
Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us.
Oh, on. Wrong.
All of
No,
a
stop,
sudden-
stop. Nope. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Okay. Clicking the arrows does nothing. It just progresses it forward no matter which way you go. Anyway, hold it. You gotta press. Press. Two silhouettes. Patricia?
That's right. They were coming towards us, waking up Briar Road in the opposite direction, walking up. Waking up.
I'm walking up.
There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume.
Yes, unfortunately it does.
And you're certain that at the time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was no one else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? Oi.
What? Oh yes, that's right. Of course, there was the light fog on the ground. But Briar Road is dead straight, and you can see a fairly long way down the pavement. And then there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrians.
I don't know if we could actually, like, use this at all. He's, like, constantly asleep.
Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you've just said?
Yes, sir. As a copper who spends all day, every day, keeping watch on the streets, I'd swear to it, sir. I'm just as sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly.
Hmm. They're still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened.
It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run.
Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly.
Thank you. I believe we have reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed?
I do like the way these games, once you've pressed them on something, I like the way they lead back into the next segment always. Like I just think it's really good writing. It makes me feel all warm and tingly inside. You know what I'm talking about? Know what I mean? Anyway, you can go and read this one now.
All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off.
Hold it!
Scattered something. Well, what do you mean by that? Oops. Rip. Wrong button.
Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was on at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling?
Oh, God.
What? Oh, yes, that's right. It was some old books.
I see. Old books.
Yes, sir. The culprit had dropped a number of them all around where the victim lay on the pavement.
Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print.
That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed.
Hold it!
Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker.
But we saw him. It was the man in the dark without question. And the mustache and the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the top mouth, the snub nose, everything!
Any more insults you want to throw in?
That's right. He looked down at the poor, defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes. Oh my. And then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away.
I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here.
May I remind the court that this unabridged testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please, continue.
Yes, sir!
He ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box.
Hold it!
Was it your husband who went to fetch help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? And then I'm gonna pull your scarf.
What? Oh, yes, that's right. I asked Mrs. Veet to go. I was off duty by that point. But Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene.
Very laudable, Mr. Beat. And preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance.
That's why I sent Patricia. You see, I told her where to find the right police box.
Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box?
Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. What was the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat on the incident fell under so she could go and report it.
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know?
And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please, you're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? Cool scar.
This, sir! What Patricia said, sir!
Let's move on, shall we?
It was definitely the Japanese man and the dog. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Hold it!
But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you?
We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know. I feel bad for the husband right now.
Right.
The light from the street lamp was more than enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he? Oh my goodness, you need to stop that.
Yes, and what of the fog?
We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm.
Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about?
The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, see? Yeah, you have stars in your eyes, apparently. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling? Oh my gosh, she's gonna pull the scarf again.
What? Oh, yes. It was the accused, no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the top mouth, the snub nose. Unmistakable shot!
As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Soseki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I hate to admit it, but but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day.
Yes, I feel the same way.
So if that's true, where does it leave us?
The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony.
Oh no. Then what do we do? I don't know about that, Cody Cat. We'll have to see. You may have called it, though.
If Kazuma-sama were here,
What are you trying to say?
I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony.
What do you mean, somewhere else?
Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the fact, you might be able to discredit them to make the jury doubt of the pair's memory of the days after.
Oh, right.
Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion.
Why do I always seem to be so up against it?
This is a video game, we have to do it. Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you. So, it seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it.
What? No, no, no. Oh, no, it's really not that at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. Oh my gosh, she's acting like a child now. I remember every last detail, everything. Like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one. I could. Every single one. Oh my gosh, she did it. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
Okay, well, that was coming up.
That will do, Mrs. Beat.
No, it won't do at all. Oh my goodness, you're talking back to the judge. The Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Rolly will.
I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please, put your husband's fists down.
Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Beat? Might that appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling?
go
Oh
now.
god, you're gonna pull the scarf. Oh no, she didn't.
Man, it keeps tricking me into thinking I'm gonna do this on purpose. Okay.
I can even tell you the names of the both books he dropped at the scene.
Okay, so real quick, let's take a look at these books.
Okay.
Yes, I remember we looked at these already. The one on the far right is the Mununi book, and then
No, the receipt has the names of the book.
okay, I know, I remembered that. Jeez. Okay, so we got the picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
A meal for
sorry.
Gabriel
Gaboriau and
Canterbury Yearning.
Lecoq.
Lecoq. That was only 3 books.
Yeah, that's how many was at the scene. There's 3.
4 books.
Ooh, here we go. Already, we've got it. Very good catch by Reika. Do we present this one or this one? Let's present this. Let's present this picture.
Objection.
So you're saying that there were 4 books.
That's right, I remember all of them.
Oh, hold on. I just remembered. Just a second. Because I don't want to get in trouble again for this.
You got in trouble?
Yeah, let me move my picture down a bit. Or over to this side. Over to this side, we'll do it. Okay. Yeah, because my health points are up in the section up there that my screen is covering.
When we have the things up, I'll tell you when you can move it.
I'm not gonna move it and then move it back. That's ridiculous. That's dumb. Let me do this though. Boop, 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 boop. Flip. Oh, never mind. That just flipped the. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. Transform. Flip horizontal. So now I'm on this side, looking at the game and the people. No?
What?
Okay.
Well, Cody Cat, what do you think? You think it's fine up there?
All right, here we go.
The picture of Monsieur somebody, what's it yearnings, a meal for someone, and the thingy gummies something.
Okay, so
His name.
the thing gummies something is the thing that's not on the receipt, the book's receipt. I'm sorry, Miss Beat. Or Mrs. Beat, but there's a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours.
Oh no, what flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4.
What?
Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see, there's only 3 books.
But no, that can't be. I saw them. Also, we have the receipt. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me.
Sorry.
That big old lump of a dead body. The lady's so large, her corpse is blocking a few of the 4th book. That's all. No, here's the receipt.
She's not dead. Let's at least try to remember that the poor woman isn't dead, even if we're insulting her size. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But Mr. Natsume could not possibly have dropped the 4 books you describe.
Why not?
Fascinating. And from your assured tone, something you can readily substantiate with evidence, I presume? Ah, evidence.
Yes. Receipt.
Counsel, you will present evidence to substantiate your claim or withdraw it. What proof do you have that the accused did not drop 4 books?
Receipt.
The evidence is right here, in the form of this bookshop receipt.
From your books?
Yes, this receipt details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day, but as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
No.
Therefore, Mr. Natsume would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation, madame, cannot be relied upon.
Grr.
So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No.
Objection!
It's plainly evident that it is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend.
Why are you so
What? Why is what?
I said, why are they all so racist in this game?
What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving.
Ah,
So you've striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair?
he sees right through me.
But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you.
What are you talking about?
It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh,
Let me guess, they recovered the 4 books?
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 Burks were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 Brooks.
Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print.
That print? You mean to say... Dude.
Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand.
Does the lion's pride. Does it look like
Oh.
there's books?
the lion's pride.
That's a favorite book. That's the favorite book of the fucking... Well, he wasn't a colonel, but...
Gentleman and the maid lady.
The Moonman!
The moon and sun lady.
God damn. My throat is all I got it, guys. I'm trying. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get through this, but my voice is rough. It's rough.
I don't believe it.
It's the 4th book.
As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the
Why didn't you
victim's
turn
torso.
it in as evidence?
No, no!
Gas.
Order!
There, you see? You see? Look at that. Look.
Yes.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. Position's always right, sir.
Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
What's it, yearnings? Canterbury yearnings.
Canterbury yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Gaboriau, in fact.
As
Sorry. As the court has just heard my voice saying this, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
She
Did you
remembers
hear
those...
that?
She remembers those books like I remember names.
Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless.
But there were only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4.
There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in the photographic print.
I'm sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt?
It's not it's not odd at all, my lord. As the photograph clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches.
It also looks like there's a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book?
I wonder what became of that 4th book.
Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence.
Then why didn't you turn it in?
Well, that's right. It looks like a bite mark, but it could be a
But
burn
it's a
mark.
burnt mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a burnt mark.
Just like with the rug that was chewed on by the Indian lion.
Indian lion.
Oh, sorry, I didn't read what he said.
You will submit that in the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel.
There we go.
Oh my goodness, you might be right. The maid lady's not the maid lady. Cody Cat, you might be right.
Cody Cat. That's why in the... Okay, I thought the picture, because the face was blurred out in the picture, I thought that in the picture it was messed up just because, like, they wanted that the person in the picture was the maid. But no, the picture was all blurred out and stuff for us because they didn't want to show us that, yeah, the maid is not the wife. Oh, this could be fucking intense, my boys. A second crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record.
And it makes sense. They haven't been showing the face of the not dead woman at all. It's always been covered.
The fourth book, a book entitled The Lion's Pride, discovered at the victim's hand at the scene. Cody Cat. Oh, I think you may have gotten this one.
The prosecution rests. I have nothing further to add.
What?
You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused's lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I?
You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial has run its course.
Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position.
Precarious.
Precarious.
I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you do now? Okay, hold up. We need to examine these things.
Examine the lion's pride.
Hold on. Okay, so she's holding the book. Not seeing anything else really in this picture. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we've cracked this case wide open. Wake up.
Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burned.
You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the later pages.
What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
A book, recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Okay, so... Can I open it? Okay, so there is, I think we've already cracked it because that's like the most interesting story. But there is still a chance that the maid is in fact the wife, and that this person here is perhaps like the maid before or something, and that's why the wife's filling in for a maid right now. It could be something like that, but I'm just saying that's a possibility technically. But I do think that you already called it there, Cody Cat. I think this is good here. I think this is good. Go ahead, babe.
Let me see. It's a book entitled A Lion's Pride.
I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all, so it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before, and very recently, too.
It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhodo.
Exactly. They are deaf involved no matter what. Let me open it and see that his name is written on the inside or something. So the fact that it's burnt... Okay, but get this, boys and girls. Get this. The fact that... Oh my gosh. No, yeah, we've got this. The person... Okay, so the person who we think may be the wife, who is the maid... Okay, I'm just going to call her the maid currently, okay? The juror, the maid that's there. Get this, get this, get this. Oh, boys. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so what we know is that Mr. Natsume said he was traveling behind a heavy-set woman, right? And then there was a commotion, there was a stabbing, and so on and so forth. But this book is burned. Why would, if this is the wife, the person who was stabbed, if that's the wife, why would the wife be walking back to the house with the burned book? They would be taking the burned book away from the house, right? Maybe heading to the used bookstore with it. Which means they were traveling in the opposite direction that Mr. Naruhodo was going as he was heading back to the house. So the heavy-set person that he was walking behind wasn't the victim, but was the attacker. Oh, that's going to be important, boys. Because, yeah, there's no way they'd be taking this burned book back to the house. They'd be going in the other way. Oh. So, yes, we are raising an objection.
Objection!
I'm not done yet.
No, my learned friend, it's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. It seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point.
Humph. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this.
The yeah, and yeah, it sounds nice. Yeah, I like that. That's why I started chuckling while I was reading.
I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential, and her opinions invaluable.
Mr. Naruhodo.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madame.
Go ahead, Miss Sasato, please.
Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their learnings in a moment. Leanings. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Open the book.
Yes, I understand, and thank you, Miss Sasato. This is it. Sasato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. I can't let anyone down. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. The look on Van Seeks' face.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case, and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
We opened this book.
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print from the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of this court's time, as you well know. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh,
We need to open the
yes,
book first.
my lord. It's,
Mr. Naruhodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track.
yes, I think you may be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue on this case, which this fourth book conceals? Show me on the book where the clue touched you.
Armour.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp!
So, we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Oh my god, I just realized when it zoomed out that the scarf, they're not wearing matching scarves. The two witnesses.
Wearing one scarf.
Yeah, they're wearing one scarf. That's just
Yeah.
super long. Oh, I did not catch that.
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend?
Oh,
Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day, pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide?
a charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. All
Come
right,
on,
I'll
Reno,
explain
stay.
my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage this sorry tome has suffered?
Owner. Is it? Are we right?
My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon.
But we already know who the book belongs to. Oh no. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers.
Yeah, the mystery victim. Hello? The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious, how could you possibly?
Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Mr. Moon.
It's Iris Wilson. It's Sasato. Okay, I'm sorry. John
Oh, there you go. John Gardeb.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Gardeb.
The landlords?
And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Gardeb herself.
Oh my goodness! Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Gardeb's wife. I'm his maid. Maid!
I told you it was going to be bad tonight. It's hard for me to do a lot of these voices. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Gardeb's house?
I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Gardeb's house.
Good Lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. Here in this flashback of me stowing my tea. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride. Oh, he's pissed, boys.
By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh, dear me!
This is risible. Reasonable. Oh, boys. Here's it. We're going quick to the Firefox. Come on.
I'll do it.
No.
honey.
We're gonna learn together. There we go. Okay. Raspberry.
Okay.
Oh, Rizabel.
Yeah.
such as to provoke laughter. A Rizabel scene of love making in a tent. What a fucking ridiculous. What a Rizabel fucking I don't know, that example is fucking sus as shit.
Risible.
Risible.
Yeah.
Risible.
Very social.
Risible.
All right, there we go. Also, real quick, I want to see.
This is loud.
Oh, boys. What percentages do we got in? No projected winner yet, but hey, look at that. Okay, 63% in. Looks like our governor here in California may not be recalled. We'll have to see. We'll have to see as the night goes on.
This is reasonable. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself from the scene of the crime.
Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mr. Gardeb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Gardeb even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful. I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly?
Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
I want more Rolly. He's fun to do.
Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, well, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. And then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen.
The books were being thrown at him. Which means maybe the window was opened?
Perhaps.
If the book went out, landed in the snow, that would extinguish it. Then the victim would have picked up the book. Maybe it's not the wife then.
No, maybe that she was throwing books and other stuff probably, and threw a knife out. It could be either or. It could be.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the knife could have been chucked. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the two of them have no idea that this actually happened. Oh man. All right, here we go.
The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious! Or are you suggesting that the book was thrown through the window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there is no report of the Gardeb's window pane being broken.
But it could have been open because of the smoke.
That's quite true. We also saw no signs of broken glass when we visited the Gardeb household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and...
Not even remotely. Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
Ah!
Yeah, out of smoke and fire.
Does the defense postulate this scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Gardeb's wife?
I believe it is a possibility, my lord.
That's quite enough!
Yeah, I was right. I called it.
Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster!
I think I got back into it a bit.
You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight. Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name.
No, I assure you, that was never my intention. Just a moment, boys.
Dang.
Got me a Canada Dry now.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense.
I like the way she hits the guy next to her with her arm.
I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. Too right.
Here we go.
How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me.
Sorry, what's that?
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks?
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been. He goes axe kicking the desk again. I'm waiting now for that to break it at one point, just to smash through it later in the game.
If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time.
Damn. Got our asses. What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty.
No, no, no. They made the green coat guy sound just like the judge. It is supposed to sound a little more like this. They got it all wrong.
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
Oh, that's twice now. It's over.
Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up.
Miss Sasato.
Have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. Are we allowed to have another thingy?
You're not suggesting.
Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their mind. You have one more chance.
My lord, the defense asks to exercise its right to a summation examination.
You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve?
I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. and not let anybody down. Okay, it says to be continued, and we will continue. Right now, in fact. The Summation Samurai. Nice. Indeed.
Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Trial part.
The fuck is a Kokoro?
I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman?
But no, I could see the newspapers giving us that Summation Samurai nickname. Just like the Reaper of the Bailey.
Guess Kokoro means heart and spirit, but apparently there was a novel called Kokoro, and the author's name is Natsume Soseki. Apparently, Natsume Soseki, is an actual person from the and he had his first book published in 1914, and this character is based off of him.
Is there a picture of him? Does he look like a Japanese Edgar Allan Poe? Wait, don't.
Oh my god.
Wait, does he?
Come over.
Okay, see, this is why I need to bring it up here.
Yeah, go look it up. Look up.
Hold on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Japanese novelist. Here we go. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks like him. Not bad, not bad. Yeah. Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job putting him in the game. You know, animeizing him. All right, hold on. The quick doing up right here. No projected mirror yet still. Okay. Yeah, no, this was great. I wonder what other people we might have here.
We are, my lord. We are, my lord.
God damn it. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Way off on that guy's voice. Oh, and?
He actually went to London abroad to study English as well. And he became an English teacher in Tokyo. Okay.
Well, there you go. Was he ever in court for a potential stabbing?
No. But he hated his time in London.
Oh, well, just like this guy.
Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
I do like that. If there was some novel alternative. That's good. That's good. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it?
Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
Cheek to bounce.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. And come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the fact.
But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here?
Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those two details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted.
And there I was thinking this might be hard.
Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, really will be where the trial ends.
No pressure then.
That's quite enough, preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel.
Oh yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Oh, the old double slap, boys. We're going in for it. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be the juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Gardeb?
We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Gardeb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
I got it, yes. This is like the first boss. Okay. The defense's rebuttal.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Oops. Sorry.
Well, what difference does it make?
There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord.
Yes, that's the part I have a problem with.
Sorry.
Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said.
That's not exactly how I put it, no.
Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened.
I think... Oh, sorry.
I think that's what you call a strong alibi.
So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it?
Oh, palavers, there we go. I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
No, she's the southern one.
I am. Yeah.
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean?
Oh my, such delight on your face. I don't remember how I did that.
Yeah, like a southern belle.
But I'm afraid I shouldn't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am very modern, oh my god, I can't speak.
Metropolitan.
Metropolitan and rational woman.
That's great.
one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place?
Oh god.
You see, modern metropolitan and rational thinking, wouldn't you say?
And not at all extreme.
As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. Despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Oh my. Modern metropolitan and rational logic, wouldn't you say?
Overwhelmingly.
But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know? So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. This girl.
I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could.
Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady.
It really wants you to say metropolitan. Right. I'm glad you omitted rational there. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Alright, this is the one I'm interested to see how the maid reacts when I press. But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have happened. It could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point of even having windows, huh?
Oh, counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering.
Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. I think we need to pit him against, the old guy. Because he talked about sneezing with the fire.
Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not?
With flames of love, I'll have you know.
There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. She just hit the other guy again.
Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree?
Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garadeb.
Never you mind that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime.
Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garadeb's relentless onslaughts.
Almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is.
Or maybe he's just married to an abusive spouse as well.
Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, he does have
There
an
you go.
abusive spouse.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before.
What?
I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning.
What?
You heard me. My missus isn't one to mess about. You know, she can be a fierce. Believe you me.
Another shining example of marital bliss, then.
A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember.
Sorry?
It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out.
Helpful.
I wonder if Mr. B will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Thames.
Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Mr. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this.
It feels like there's a lot of marital
Problems?
dispute.
Yeah, come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship?
Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously.
Seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Anyway, I mustered all of my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Don't have that many candles on a cake.
It definitely sounds like devil worship to me. Gotta drink my Bob-omb soda, boys. My Bob-omb beverage.
Bum.
And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire? Here we go, boys.
What a fiasco it was. And the grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it out.
The windows.
And the biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did.
More devil worship.
I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. Something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason.
Window?
Yep, the windows.
We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it. Accidental knife in the back.
Yes, but once again the Joe's statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of illogical arguments to the contrary.
I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation.
Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. Zato?
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit! Over. Pit.
Number 3 with number 6.
Objection!
These two Joe's statements clearly contradict one another.
They do. How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me.
What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up!
Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear Jer number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garadeb household, and Mr. Garadeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh, my hat. Hold on, boys. Here we go. Oh, she's scarfing tea. Oh, look at your number 3 space down below. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garadeb? Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I am hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have gone to open the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. Oh my gosh.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garadeb's formal statement.
Now you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I had clean forgotten, but it's true. Okay, let's see. He says... Okay, so she's looking for the novel explanation. He's saying that, like, it doesn't matter how the book got there, but now we know that the window was open and there were books being thrown. So, yeah, we'll go with him and her.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. I'm sorry, but as a foreman of the jury, I have to object. That's complete nonsense. What? I'm a banker, don't forget. An educated man, and there's no contradiction as far as I can see.
Quite so, Mr. Foreman. I will not permit a whimsical attack against the good members of the jury.
What? But when I pressed him, he talked about how it doesn't matter about the fourth book because there was no... Whatever. Alright, you know what? You know what I think we need to do? I think we need to press the maid again. Or the maid again. Because her thing was changed. So yeah, we're all gotta do this here. The fourth book, found at the scene of the crime, shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garadeb told us he had been reading.
Well, I really couldn't say.
On the day in question, did you or did you not throw a book at your husband? The copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading?
I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it. You're right.
Why did you not reveal this information to the courtroom from the outset?
Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you could lay your hands on, as you will know.
I really don't.
I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it.
Here we go. What the fuck is this? I wasn't expecting this. Oh, that face.
Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out.
Ah,
It was listening to that what this granny was saying, brought it all flooding back.
she hits him.
Who are you calling a granny? You cheeky devil! I'm Mrs. Garadeb or the maid. I'll have you know.
Or the maid. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit at all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages that I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight, I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me it did, about an inch deep.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you.
Who the fuck is he married to?
Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the words lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Some of them will just throw you with a Sasado.
Yeah, see, Sasada doesn't throw things at you. She throws you at other things. No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is, well, so uncivilized. You just do a Sasado throw. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like.
A
bow or the
bow?
Bow or the like.
I mean, to be fair, she is Japanese, but that might be a little racist on your part. Aggressive bowing intensifies. I guess it's just par for the course with this game, so. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack?
Never mind. Anyway, this man's word could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. Woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me.
Hold it!
Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you?
That's right. She was chopping meat with it, had a tidy edge on it, I believe me.
Still, it's all memories, isn't it? It started with that smile she threw me when we were courting. And since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, a kettle, a chair, a wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub.
A bathtub?
Your wife must be even beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me right into the Thames. Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down.
Oh my gosh.
She's a little sweetheart, really.
He got thrown into the Thames? Oh my god.
I was
What?
about to say, well, at least we know he can swim, but then again, this is like turn of the century Thames, so chances are he had a hard landing and then just walked off of the river.
I hope he is okay. The Thames.
I'm so happy for you. If you want to know what I think this whole idea of ladies first and we're so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who'd been tossed into the Thames a few too many times by their wives. That's a very interesting theory.
What a terrible thought.
On the face of it, this juror's statement just sounds like a really extreme anecdote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. That's right, going incel. He got black-pilled, right? Alright, let's pit him. It's him against the Southern Belle now.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Oh my god, I cannot read.
Good grief! You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think, perhaps, that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh ma, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Gardeb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Gardeb household to the street below. Eh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Gardeb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole?
Beanpole.
I'm beginning to think that, ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. But what? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. All right, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Gardeb household to the scene of the crime was, and by the way, as you can see now, up in the top, motion in the direction, up in the top right there, my lives.
He has 3 lives left.
Mm-hmm. Juror number 4, Mrs. Gardeb.
What now?
I must apologize in advance for this, but I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Oh! Good Lord, counsel! What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man!
My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Gardeb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Gardeb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that. The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Huh? Even my missus hasn't got a name like that.
Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand, but that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Oh my.
Ah! Mrs. Garadeb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, Thud. Damn, Sasato got them high-waisted booty shorts. No, just kidding. I'm just saying she's got a belt way up to her armpits.
I wish to change my decision. I'm a winner of my word, after all.
Thank you, madame.
Cheesy.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind.
I think it was, if she was her, it was an accident. Again, another accident.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
We did it.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors call guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of the court is divided, and this trial will continue.
Oh, Van Zeeks is pissed. Look at that. Pissed ant.
Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
I'm gonna destroy another wine glass, that's what.
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce.
Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garadeb household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garadeb's house to this scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
Let me see, 15 yards. That's around 14 meters.
14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb.
Picked it up.
Exactly. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near-identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots.
I possible being hurled. If she was really angry, it could work.
Oh, there's nothing I can say to that.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice.
Mr. Sato. Oh God. Babe.
Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
Maybe let's pick our battles here.
My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Gardev, must be called to testify and submit to a cross-examination.
The saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Oh my God. He just fucking yeets the bottle backwards without a care into the into the fucking the gallery. Oh man.
And unnecessary. Lord Van Zeeks? There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before the couple's eyes. And we must assume that they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses?
Yes, sir. Constable Roy Bate, reporting for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir. Well, I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Oh, they are so heroic. Those London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I have been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Rowley, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request
Oh,
and order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
Yes, sir.
Boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, grus, and ghastly things of all nature. No, that's it for tonight. Depending on how I'm feeling tomorrow, I might do some more tomorrow. I'm gonna talk to Kisho, see if maybe we can get some more Demon Souls going again on Thursday. I've been wanting to do Demon Souls. But that's it for tonight. So we will go ahead and save it now. Gonna save the game. And then we're gonna quit the game. Probably gonna save it again. Let's see. Yes, that's what we do, because that's what I always have to do. If a game asks me to save when I go to quit, even if I just saved it, I always just say yes. Alright. Where is I wanted to take a look at this again now. Oh wait, it's not saying no projected winner. It's saying no is the projected winner. I'm a fucking idiot. All right, so we got 65% in, estimated about. And we're looking at, damn. Oh, look at that. Almost fucking double. Looks like we're going to have the governor still after tonight. Cool. All right, so time to go to the ending screen. Maybe put up some music while we do this. Here we go. A Mr. Peanut Butter situation happening. What the fuck does that mean? Oh god. This against TOS? Anyway, like I said, I'll be back maybe tomorrow. I'll have to see how I'm feeling, but for sure I will be on 30. Oh, gotcha. Yes, I have seen BoJack Horseman. Yes, I haven't finished it though, but we will be back on Thursday for certain. Hopefully playing Demon Souls with Keisha Wolf, and yes, it'll be a crossover episode if we do get him. Then on Friday, we're going to be hopefully finishing up Lamentum for the spooky stream. And Saturday I should be off. Yeah, I will be off Saturday because I will be instead at my parents' house watching Lily, who has surgery tomorrow. Little Lily has surgery tomorrow. It's my parents' black female Labrador. She's getting a large fatty deposit removed that's making it hard for her to walk and causing her some pain. But she should be fine after the surgery. It's just that she needs to be taking it easy and being watched, and my parents have to go away that day, so we'll be over there. Never mind, that's way too much information for you guys. Or not. Who knows? Maybe you guys want to hear about that. I don't know. Anyway, Cody Cat, thanks for being here. Ray Casari, thanks for being here. For everybody else, no matter who you are, where you are, and whenever the hell you're watching this, thanks for watching, guys. It means a lot to me. Please throw me a follow if you haven't followed yet. It would really help out the channel. Stay safe out there, guys. Love you.